星町水星、なんと声変わりしました。
本日は、皆さんにちょっとお休みの報告と言いますか、
健康診断の話。
今までのコツコツコツコツしたダメージがですね、ついに、達したのかと。
だからね、いや、マジわからん。胃もね、多分、他の数値は全然平気だったの。だから、でも肝臓は死んでた。
まあね、ちょっと喉の調子がちょっと悪くなってしまいまして。
休んでもちょっとこれからが治らない。生体結節と診断されまして。
病院行って、やっぱ言うじゃん。なんか、どうしましたかって話をするじゃん。で、いやー、ただゲームをやってただけで、しか言えなくって。
まあ、喉の調子が悪いまま、負荷がかかる声の出し方をしているという風に、まあ、その先生に言われまして。
もうマジで生活習慣っていうか、デスクワークじゃん。私たちっていつも座ってなんか喋ってさ、基本家出ないじゃん。まあ生活習慣だよねって言われて、はい。
まあでも、安心してくださいと。1ヶ月から2ヶ月で、まあ治りますよと。
でもさ、病院の先生もさ、他にないんですか？記憶にない。いや、ゲームをしていただけでは、なんと思うって感じだったんだよね。
寝る時間不規則なのって言われてさ、はい。
私も、長い間、やっていきたいので、この活動を、声をちょっと変えようということになりまして。だ
から家で、何してんのって言われて、仕事っていうか、普段何してるのって言われて、言えないからさ、配信してますとかなんて言えないからさ、まあなんか座ってもうずっと作業してますって言うしかなかったからさ。
けど今回はね、ガチめにちょっと休まなきゃなと思い。
そう、それでブラック企業と勘違いされて、やめれないんですかって言われたもん。休みないのって言われてさ、ないですって言ったの。基本的に、なんだろう、今日配信休むねっていう休むもさ、一応裏でいろいろやってるわけよ。やらなきゃいけないことを。配信してるときはもう配信してるし、配信のネタ考えたりとかさ、準備したりとかしてるじゃん。もう今はね、命削って仕事してる状態だよって言われて。で、先生的には、もうなんか仕事を辞めるか、命削るかだよ、の状態だと思うよ。
Picture this.A new VTuber with an amazing model gains traction on Twitter advertising their debut. They gain a following overnight that eagerly awaits said VTuber's first stream. On debut, they show a high-production lore video, sing for the audience, show off an avatar that's worth more than your car, and introduce themselves along with what ambitious content they have planned. At the end, they show their schedule for the week, which is of course,a stream every day that week. VTuber debuts like these are always an exciting start to a new journey, but recently I've been wondering, how long can these creators keep this up? In the wake of some recent events, I have been thinking about VTuber culture and just how different it can be from other niches of content creation on the internet, and not always for the better.The popular VTuber culture we see today originated with corporate entities facilitating the creation of VTuber characters piloted by talents that create polished, immersive daily live content. Nijisanji and Hololive especially have shaped and perfected the formula that you see most VTubers attempt to follow regardless of their size and status. Just so we're on the same page, let me break down the typical corporate VTuber formula for everyone.Advertising the debut with a character or group trailer, then debuting about a week or two later. A standard debut is a production that showcases what a creator is all about in their first stream. You see, because agencies pick creators with previous experience in the entertainment or arts industries, the expectation is that their talents can hit the ground running with content to wow the audience on day one.Whether this be a unique sense of humor, musical talent, or a quirk to their personality, debuts are meant to be a spectacle to engage the audience enough to hit the subscribe button so that they get notified about the many, many streams to come. When I say many streams, I mean it. Agency contracts typically ask for at least 3 streams a week from their talents, but agency VTubers rarely do the bare minimum. The top agency VTubers have a schedule that can only be followed by someone who has replaced their bloodstream with energy drinks. Whether it's Laplace Darkness streaming 7 days a week, or marathon streamers like Inagami Kurone doing 12-hour streams, all in a character voice. And when they aren't on streams, side projects such as anime, skits, original songs, cover songs, illustration, music videos, collaborations on other channels, crossovers, voice packs, merchandising, concerts, social media management, off collabs, and many more occupy what little free time the talents would have left between streams to take care of themselves, partake in other hobbies, and see family. Being the jack-of-all-trades creator is an expectation at this point, set by the many talents of Niji Sanji and Hololive who can truly do it all. The problem is, this constant flow of streams and projects isn't sustainable for anyone. Part of the appeal of VTubers is the illusion that they're accomplishing all of this by themselves. If you are an indie VTuber without deep pockets, chances are you're doing it all by yourself anyways. But even if you're a VTuber affiliated with the best agency there is, the majority of the work has to be from you or in your voice. And this creates some problems. For example, this amount of work impacts the talent's health. With all this voice work, VTubers often damage their throats and are forced to use their voice as little as possible to recover. Other serious health issues aren't unheard of either. VTubing is still a new thing, and yet we already see so many talents dealing with health problems that directly relate to their line of work. Part of the issue is the inability to take breaks. If an agency VTuber is taking a break or on vacation, they still feel the need to post on social media to stay relevant. Some particularly toxic fans get worried that their favorite streamer is on a date with a significant other whenever the talent is away on vacation and seeing family. To make matters worse, if you aren't consistently doing something announcement-worthy, you are out of the conscience of the fans. Since VTubers, and particularly agency VTubers, follow the same formula, they more or less all appeal to the same core audience, which means that once one VTuber ends their stream, fans can find another one that suits their taste in entertainment pretty easily. This creates this constant battle for relevance, even among the top VTubers. I'm sure this also creates a fear of coming back to no audience if they ever are on hiatus. Good thing these VTubers are getting full-time pay so that they don't have to work to support themselves, right? Otherwise, this would be completely impossible to maintain, right? Unfortunately, even if a creator is an agency-affiliated VTuber, that does not mean that they earn full-time pay for their full-time amount of work. Take it from Orla, who recently graduated from Sundaria.
Is there anything you wish you had more time to do before your graduation from Sundaria? All of the things I wanted to do, that's for sure. I feel as though I didn't accomplish almost any of the things I wanted to do. Maybe it's because I was busy. Like so many of us are busy. A lot of us were full-time students, full-time workers, working multiple part-time jobs, and we still had the expectation, especially even from fans, to stream just as much as someone who maybe didn't have that. So it's kind of sucked, right? So it's like I had a lot of plans, but then, oh, sorry, my full-time job takes my time away. Like we don't get the luxury of that reasoning, right? There was many things. I really wanted to continue more of my offline content, but when you spend hours and hours and hours on something, but it takes away time that you could have spent with friends or family, and it doesn't give you money, which we need money. Like, sorry, very, very sorry to say, but we do need money, and time is money. Jobs take up time. Jobs in school take up time, but we do them with the hope that we're getting some kind of money to support ourselves, right? Much like artists can't pay the bills with exposure, I can't pay the bills with my hopes and dreams of entertaining, right?
I've mostly been talking about agency VTubers as an example, but this is for good reason. VTuber agencies are the ones leading the charge with the direction VTuber culture goes in. They set the quote-unquote meta that independent VTubers tend to follow. Therefore, a lot of small VTubers and indie VTubers can share in some of these experiences. One of these experiences is the never-ending grind VTubers across the virtual world seem to participate in. Let's put it this way. VTubers of all sizes are on a treadmill, so to speak. When they are successful, they don't want to get off the treadmill in fear of losing the relevancy they worked so hard to compete for. They might even pick up the pace. And when they're not successful, they want to grind harder to see that success. There are a lot of skills to learn to be a great VTuber after all, and seemingly to get into the top agencies, you need to know all of them. We've established that the top streamers, with the help of a corporation, are the ones setting the pace of this treadmill. But I personally believe they're setting it too high even for themselves. You could say that this applies to all forms of content creation, that streaming is very demanding and most streamers are overworked. But I have never seen a genre of content that expects the entertainers to be so multi-talented and constantly available. You don't expect XQC to drop his own original song and voice act in a weekly anime on top of his regular streams. Which leads to the more theoretical part of the video. This is just a theory, and the VTuber sphere is still so new that only time will tell if I'm on the right track, but here it is. Right now, I see the competitive VTuber industry like a revolving door. The demand put on talent is so high that oftentimes it's difficult for a VTuber to stay in the same place for long. Let's take the journey of the legendary VTuber Ceann as an example. Ceann started as an indie VTuber, but as an indie VTuber she did not have the reach or equipment to reach her full potential as a VTuber. So Ceann joined Hololive under the name of Kiryu Coco. After a year and a half, she ran into poor treatment from toxic fans and some disagreements with management. So Coco graduated from Hololive and reincarnated back into Ceann, using her experience to craft a higher production channel as an independent VTuber. After being independent for a while, Ceann now ran into another issue. She lacked the means of high-level 3D tracking that agencies often provide their talents. Therefore, for this and other reasons, Ceann decided to then go back into another agency contract, this time with VShojo. There are a few other instances of this happening, for a number of different reasons. The one constant in all these examples is the talents all striving for the highest quality possible content there is. Oftentimes, striving for agency-level content will lead to burnout, it seems, because the standards are simply too high to be sustainable. To recap, under the current VTuber culture, so much of the work is on the individual because the main appeal is the personality behind the VTubers themselves. On top of that fact, because the niche is so saturated with similar-minded talents, they have the added stress that the moment they go AFK, their relevance will disappear. Not to mention that many of the VTuber agencies' model quality and tracking range between expensive and impossible for one person to recreate as an independent VTuber. This leaves talents in a predicament that often leads to them getting caught in a revolving door, or worse, burning out and quitting VTubing altogether. All of these reasons and more make it kind of difficult for me to offer solutions to remedy this cycle of VTuber burnout. But I want to end this video on a positive note, so I'm just gonna give it my best shot anyways. First, agencies could promote a healthier work culture. They don't have to police their talent schedule per se, but if they could encourage all their employees to take a proper day off once a week, that would do so much good for all VTubers, including indies. I should mention that some of this may stem from Japanese work culture, but I'm not very knowledgeable on the topic myself. Second, indie VTubers could drop some of the agency-driven traditions and meta to pursue a different genre of content while still using the avatar, and eventually find their own niche that exists outside of VTubers. VTubers shouldn't expect themselves to be a jack of all trades off the bat, and introduce new skills and content gradually. Learning to do one thing really well at a time will be better for the health of your channel in the long run. And lastly, fans of VTubers can, of course, politely encourage their favorite streamers to take breaks and call out toxic behavior in the fan base when they see it. If there is a reform in the way fans talk about VTubers going on breaks, that will relieve some of the pressure talents feel to keep going 24/7. I've been Yam Kamori. Take care, Bat Bunch. See you next time.